Imagine being arrested for feeding pigeons or forgetting your wife's birthday. Sounds absurd, right? Well, buckle up, because the world's weirdest laws are very, very real. Let's start in Venice, Italy, the city of canals, gondolas, and outlawed crumbs. Yes, feeding pigeons in St. Mark's Square is illegal. Why? Because the local government believes pigeon droppings damage historic buildings. So, toss a crusty corner of bread and you might just find yourself fined. It's not a joke, they're serious about preserving the city's beauty. And as bizarre as that sounds, it's just the beginning. There are far stranger laws lurking in dusty books and active legislation across the world. Now to Switzerland, where you're free to live peacefully. Just don't flush your toilet after 10 p.m. in an apartment building. Yes, in some cantons, it's considered a public noise violation. The logic? It disturbs neighbors' sleep. Swiss orderliness is next level. Even the porcelain throne must wait till morning. While not always strictly enforced, the law technically still stands, and many landlords include it in rental agreements. Night owl bladder, beware. Crossing over to Thailand, you'd better wear underwear under your clothes. Seriously, there's a law making it illegal to go out in public without them. While police aren't checking your wardrobe choices daily, this old statute technically exists. And there's more. Stepping on Thai currency is also forbidden, since it bears the image of the king. Stepping on a coin can be considered an insult to the monarchy, a punishable offense. In Samoa, you better keep track of important dates like your wife's birthday. It's reportedly a punishable offense if you forget it. This one's a bit murky and rarely enforced, but it exists on record. Whether symbolic or not, the message is clear. Don't slack on romance. That forgotten bouquet might just come with legal consequences. Samoa isn't playing around when it comes to marital memory. Meanwhile, in Victoria, Australia, it's illegal to change a light bulb unless you're a licensed electrician. The law once deemed it electrical work requiring certification. Of course, common sense eventually kicked in and enforcement faded, but technically, still on the books for years. So, swapping a bulb could have made you a criminal electrician in the eyes of the law, a bright idea turned into a legal offense. Let's travel to Canada. In Petrolia, Ontario, there's a bylaw prohibiting yelling, shouting, whistling, or singing in public. The idea? To keep public spaces peaceful. While the law doesn't ban speaking or conversation, raising your voice may attract unwanted attention and possibly a fine. Canada's known for its calm, but this takes quiet please to another level. In France, it is illegal to name your pig Napoleon. It's considered disrespectful to the memory of the former emperor. The law stems from a time when poking fun at powerful historical figures could stir political controversy. While rarely enforced now, the ban is rooted in protecting the legacy of France's famous and infamous ruler. Oink at your own risk. Let's head to Japan. If you're overweight, you may be breaking the law seriously. The Metabo law mandates that citizens aged 40-74 maintain a certain waist size, under 33.5 inches for men and 35.4 for women. While individuals aren't fined, companies and local governments can be penalized for not keeping employees within limits. It's a public health law with real consequences, designed to curb obesity, but with surprisingly Orwellian undertones. In the UK, handling a salmon in suspicious circumstances is an actual crime. The Salmon Act 1986 includes this curious clause, intended to combat illegal fishing and poaching. But it opens the door for wild interpretations. What exactly is a suspicious circumstance? Selling salmon from your coat pocket? Trading it for favors in a dark alley? The law leaves room for imagination and bizarre headlines. Meanwhile, in Singapore, chewing gum isn't just frowned upon, it's strictly regulated. Importing or selling chewing gum is banned, except for certain medical types. The law came into effect in 1992 to maintain cleanliness in public spaces and transit systems. Anyone who's been to Singapore knows the city is spotless. And gum, once a sticky rebellion, has become a symbol of state-level hygiene control. Let's jump to Denmark. If your car breaks down on a dark road, you're required to check under it for sleeping children before driving off. This law, while rarely needed, stems from urban legends and child safety concerns. It's a reminder of just how far a society will go to prioritize the welfare of its smallest citizens, and maybe how strange laws can reflect deeply rooted fears. In Italy's city of Eboli, building sandcastles on the beach is against the law. Why? Because they obstruct pedestrian pathways and, some say, ruin the beach's aesthetic. Fines can be handed out to eager young architects who don't know they're breaking the law by playing in the sand. It's a law that feels more fairy tale villain than legal code. But there it is, no turrets allowed. In Missouri, USA, you may not drive with an uncaged bear in your vehicle. The law likely originated to prevent circus-related chaos or exotic pet escapades. Today, it feels less like a necessary statute and more like a punchline. Still, it's real, and police could technically enforce it. So next time you hit the road with a furry friend, maybe keep the bear in the back seat and behind bars. To Portugal now, where it's illegal to pee in the ocean. Yes, urinating in the sea is technically against public decency laws. While enforcement is, understandably, non-existent, the law stands as a gesture toward hygiene and public courtesy. Still, one wonders, who's watching, and how would they ever catch you? In Turkmenistan, lip-syncing in public performances is banned. The government insists on preserving the authenticity of cultural performances. So even international pop stars must sing live or risk being shut down. The law reflects a desire to protect national identity and maybe a distaste for Milli Vanilli moments. Back to the US and Arizona, it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. The law came after a 1920s incident where a donkey floated away in a flood while snoozing in a tub. After a costly rescue, lawmakers decided to prevent future bath time disasters. The law still exists, making it possibly the most specific ban involving livestock and porcelain ever written. In Scotland, if someone knocks on your door and asks to use the toilet, you're legally obliged to let them in. While rarely enforced and more folklore than formal law today, it's long been cited as part of common law hospitality. It's a quirky mix of decency and duty, and a reminder that kindness was once a legal requirement. In Finland, traffic fines are based on your income. Speeding too fast with a big paycheck? That might cost you tens of thousands. The idea is fairness, that a rich person shouldn't be able to buy their way out of breaking laws. It's one of the few places where speeding in a Ferrari could wreck your wallet as much as your car. Over in the UAE, public displays of affection, even just a kiss on the cheek, can result in fines or jail time. The country's legal system is deeply influenced by Islamic traditions, and public morality is strictly guarded. Tourists have been arrested for what they considered harmless gestures. Always best to check local customs before you pucker up. In Germany, it's illegal to run out of fuel on the Autobahn. Why? Because stopping on the highway is dangerous, and the logic is that running out of gas is preventable. So if your tank hits empty, it's not just inconvenient, it's a fine. German efficiency extends even to your fuel gauge. In China, you need government approval to reincarnate if you're a Tibetan Buddhist monk. It's a law designed to control religious leadership, requiring monks to file for permission before naming spiritual successors. The surreal blend of bureaucracy and belief makes it one of the world's most metaphysical legal hurdles. In Oklahoma, eavesdropping is a misdemeanor, even if you're doing it with a cup on the wall. The law protects privacy, and while it might not be enforced in every creaky apartment building, it still warns against sneaky neighbors and their curious ears. Gossip might be fun, but here, it could be criminal. In South Korea, internet defamation carries heavier penalties than offline insults. Even if your post is true, if it damages someone's reputation, you could be fined or jailed. The digital world holds real-world consequences, especially in a hyper-connected society. Think twice before you type. In Spain, particularly in Barcelona, it's illegal to walk around in a bikini or swim trunks unless you're on the beach. The city cracked down to reduce public nudity in shops, streets, and restaurants. So if you're thinking beachwear and tapas, maybe throw on a shirt first, or risk a fine. In Poland, wearing Winnie the Pooh on children's playgrounds is discouraged, and in some towns, even unofficially banned. The concern? He doesn't wear pants, and that's deemed inappropriate. While not a national law, it's enough to make a stuffed bear a cultural flashpoint in some communities. Childhood innocence. Meet the wardrobe police. In Florida, unmarried women who parachute on Sundays risk jail time, at least according to an outdated statute. No one really enforces it anymore, but its existence reminds us how moral norms used to shape laws. A woman in freefall? Apparently, that used to be dangerous in more ways than one. In India, there's a law where men who leave their wives without financial support can face jail time. While rooted in protecting women from abandonment, it raises questions about gendered justice. It's still used today, a reminder that some laws try to legislate morality and responsibility all at once. In Indonesia, it's illegal to masturbate, with punishment potentially including decapitation, at least according to old criminal codes. In practice, it's never enforced that harshly. Still, the very presence of such an extreme law reflects the conservative values enshrined in older legal systems. In England, it's technically illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. The logic? Dying there makes you eligible for a state funeral, and the law tried to prevent that privilege from being exploited. It's a rule with zero enforcement, but maximum oddity. And back to Australia, where in South Australia it's illegal to disrupt a wedding or funeral without a legitimate excuse. Offenders can face up to 2 years in prison. It may sound like a line from a rom-com, but the law takes these moments seriously. Your dramatic objection could come with a criminal record. In the Maldives, importing Bibles is illegal for non-Muslims. The law aims to protect religious unity, though tourists are usually allowed to carry one for personal use. Still, missionary work is banned. The rule illustrates the delicate intersection of faith and law. In Norway, advertising to children under 12 is banned. This includes television commercials and some online ads. The country emphasizes protecting kids from manipulation, even if it means toy stores must market to parents instead. A rare example of law guarding childhood imagination from corporate hands. In Saudi Arabia, Valentine's Day was banned until recently. Florists and gift shops were prohibited from selling red roses or heart-shaped goods on the 14th of February. The fear was that it encouraged un-Islamic behavior. Though lifted in recent years, the remnants of the ban still linger in conservative areas. In the Philippines, it's illegal to divorce, except for Muslims. The country is one of the few without a comprehensive divorce law, rooted in its strong Catholic heritage. For many, this means separation is legally impossible, trapping some in marriages for life. In Iceland, naming laws govern what you can call your child. Names must fit the Icelandic language and grammar and can't cause embarrassment. So if you're planning to name your kid Zeppelin Banana, think again, it might be rejected. In Nigeria, witchcraft is still criminalized. Accusations can lead to imprisonment, especially in rural communities. While many push for reform, the law reflects a blend of traditional beliefs and colonial-era statutes. Fear, myth, and the law still mix dangerously. In Malaysia, naming your baby Snake or Hitler is forbidden. The government maintains a list of banned names to protect children from ridicule or harm. It might feel like overreach, but it's meant to ensure dignity from day one. In New Zealand, you can't fly with a rooster on your head, at least according to airline guidelines for carry-on livestock. While not a law in the legal sense, it's part of airline safety protocols. Still, it reads like something from a cartoon, but was probably written for a reason. In Russia, dirty cars can be fined not just because of pollution, but because license plates must be visible. So if snow, dirt, or sheer laziness covers your plate, you could be pulled over. Cleanliness here is about identification and avoiding surprise tickets. In South Africa, witch doctors are legally recognized, and traditional healing is protected under the law. But any false claims of magical powers used to commit fraud or harm can lead to prosecution. The balance of respect for tradition and protection from exploitation is a tricky legal tightrope. In the United States, some states still ban fortune-telling for profit unless you're licensed. From New York to Louisiana, psychics must register, and others can be fined for scamming the spiritually curious. That crystal ball better come with a receipt. In Dubai, eating in public during Ramadan is illegal for everyone, including tourists. The law enforces respect for the fasting tradition, and violators can face jail or fines. Even chewing gum or sipping water is forbidden during daylight hours in public. In Bhutan, plastic bags have been banned since 1999. The country, focused on gross national happiness, declared them harmful to the environment and replaced them with eco-friendly alternatives. Enforcement is strict, and the result? Some of the cleanest streets in the world. In Germany, it's illegal to deny the Holocaust, a law designed to combat hate speech and historical revisionism. It's one of the few places where freedom of speech stops at the edge of genocide denial, reflecting a national commitment to remembrance. In Japan, dancing after midnight was banned until 2015. The law was a remnant of post-WWI efforts to clean up nightlife. Nightclubs technically broke the law for decades, until public pressure finally forced reform. Until then, your late-night groove was technically criminal. In the UK, handling a dead whale requires royal permission. All whales and sturgeons are royal fish and technically belong to the monarch. This ancient law might not come up often, but it means beachcombing just got politically complicated. In Greece, it's illegal to wear high heels at ancient sites. The reason? Damage to historical structures. Archaeologists argued that spiky shoes chip away at marble, and the law stuck. History here demands respect and flats. In New York, it's illegal to jump off a building punishable by death. It's one of those archaic laws with an impossibly ironic twist. The punishment is moot if the act is successful. Still, it remains on the books as a grim curiosity. Around the world, the weirdest laws aren't always about control. Sometimes they're about culture, fear, history, or even jokes gone too far. Some are obsolete, some are enforced. But all of them reflect the strange, surprising ways humans try to organize society. So, next time you laugh at a strange law, remember, behind every odd rule is a story of people, fears, mistakes, or lessons. If today's tales twisted your brain in the best way, don't forget to follow this podcast, leave a rating, and share it with someone who'd definitely get arrested for forgetting a birthday or feeding a pigeon. Until next time, stay curious and stay just this side of legal.